Hello, and thank you for taking the time to listen to these messages. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out the description box for ways to support our channel. Thank you. Hello, welcome back to the Collective Perspective. This is Alec Himes once again. Today we are going to talk a little bit about what they call the Palmyra Arch. This is just a little sprinkling like most of my uploads. I don't get into giving you information because I humbly believe that when you give people information and they don't just when you give people information and they don't go and search for it themselves, it doesn't hold as much weight. If I just give you a name and allow you to Google that name or allow you to do whatever research you see fit on said topic and allow you to come to the conclusions and find the information that you find, that topic or that thing is going to hold a lot more weight because you went and got that information for yourself. You saw it with your own eyes. Someone didn't provide it for you. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I do disagree with about a lot of people that are uploading content right now is I think that it's almost like they're making it too easy, if that makes any sense. In my humble opinion, if it's too easy, that means that maybe I need to look a little deeper. Maybe I need to get some other sources on some of this information that this particular person is citing, you see? And that's why I don't cite information in my uploads. That's why I don't cite websites. I'm not going to refer you to any specific place. I'm just going to say, hey, Google, because that's the most common search engine. Whatever search engine you desire to use that and do your own research. You know what I mean? I digress. The Palmyra Arch. I'm going to rewind and take you back to, and no one really saw the significance of what was happening at the time, but I sure as heck did. I knew exactly what was going on. I knew what they were doing. When you look at ISIS and the things that they were starting to institute across Iraq and Syria, they were going to these ancient sites, okay? And they were literally like leveling the straight professional demolition of ancient museums, ancient sites, ancient this, ancient that. Where am I going with that though? One of the things that they destroyed was this huge arch. It's like a portico, like a gateway, you know. So everyone coming into this particular temple or area would pass through this portal, quote unquote portal. Today they call it the Palmyra Arch, okay? But when you do the ancient history on it, it's actually the Arch of Baal in the ancient pronunciation, but here in the West we call it Baal. Where am I going with that? After ISIS destroyed that particular arch, okay, which I want to say that was probably back in probably 2010, or later when that happened, I think. But when the people went in, the archaeologists and the people that wanted to try to salvage and see if they could preserve or recover and possibly preserve some of the things from that area, the Palmyra Arch was one of those things. Again, If you look at the ancient name, it's called the Gate of Baal, the Arch of Baal. And this particular arch was, like I said, the portal that led you into like the temple area. You know what I mean? And it was like everyone had to pass through this portal in order to go into this quote unquote area where they're going to worship Baal. When you do the ancient history and you look at the parallels in the names, Baal is another name for Molech. Molech is the ancient deity. Now, I want to remind you that this is probably one of the oldest complex thought forms because this is probably one of the first ones talked about in the Bible. Okay. So this is like one of the first offshoots or derivatives or left turns, so to speak, of God's people in the Bible. And so when you do your history and your research, you'll see that Molech, Baal worship involved, homosexuality, promiscuousness, pedophilia, blood sacrifice, the sacrifice of putting your children to the flames, for financial gain and things, business, prosperity, different things. It was like a, ancient ritual that they've been doing for hundreds and thousands, literally thousands of years. And so this Palmyra gate, quote unquote, the gate of Baal, would lead you into this complex where that's where they sacrificed and that's where they burned children to the, worship of Molech, Baal. And that's where they, drank blood and they had orgies and all that good stuff, right? So this is, we're talking thousands of years ago, right? So what significance would the Palmyra Gate have in 2020 is what we would ask. Going back to where ISIS destroyed it, along with many other artifacts and different history in that region, the archaeologists went in and they wanted to build a recreation of it. How ironic. And why that particular thing? Again, the sacrificing to those deity had a lot to do with financial gain, had a lot to do with, monetary wealth and this, that, and whatever. And I'm going to point you to a particular time in a very good book that has a lot of wisdom in it. They made a calf made of, they fashioned a calf made of gold. There's a reason why they made it of gold. There's a reason why they were worshiping a calf of gold, a golden calf. Excuse me. So, if you want to take a look in that book, look at some of the references, look at some of the parallels, right? So, the significance being, after the archaeologists reconstructed this gateway of Baal, gateway of the devil, the arch of Molech, right? Where did they put it? They actually took it around the world on a world tour. Yeah, they took it on a world tour. And they were going to start off bringing it to New York, but they changed because they in the headlines, whatever headline they chose to use to let the public know that this was happening, it sparked a bunch of outrage, and the religious community was like, oh heck no, and so they canceled it, they nixed it, and then they ended up taking it to London, right? Of course, we all know London is the financial hub. It is the headquarters of that European banking system. It is the gateway, so to speak, to the financial gain and the financial kingdom of Europe. And then they moved it to New York, which is the financial gateway and also the gateway of the United Nations. So after that, they moved it to, I want to say it was Dubai. And Dubai is the financial hub, the financial gateway to the Middle East. I mean, it's simple. Once you look at and do the history of what the Palmyra Gate is, look at the fact that they reconstructed it, and then also look at the places that they've unveiled this thing and had this grand opening, I would humbly like to say that they're almost telling you exactly what this current world system is. And if we can't see it for what it is, they even told us in that very wise and beautiful book that this world is the kingdom of the devil. And they're making it very well known that they sacrifice and they do all these things to the devil. And so now we're starting to get a grip and an understanding on how and why we see the events transpiring in the way that they do. And I don't judge. I have family members that I love and respect that are gay, lesbian, transgender, what have you. Okay, so this is no slight to anybody. I love everybody. But there's a specific agenda to normalize gay, lesbian, transgenderism, what do they call it? There's another androgynous where there is no, like, you don't claim a sex, you're just neutral. You know what I'm saying? They want to normalize pedophilia. They want to bring all of these things out into the open. And I'm so sorry, and I hate to say, and I do apologize if this offends anybody, but when you look at some of the qualities and attributes of what society or what the spiritual community would call evil or the devil, it involves homosexuality, it involves pedophilia, it involves bestiality, it involves that immorality, because two women together cannot make a child, cannot conceive a child in this third realm. I'm talking about the laws, the physical laws that apply to procreation on this third dimensional plane. You can try it any way you want it, but there's only going to be one way that you can do it outside of a laboratory, and that is a man and a woman coming together as one and creating life. You see? If you cannot see that basic law of nature, that basic universal divine law, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that you can't see that. But in my humble opinion, it is very, very simple. Very simple. A man and a woman produce a child. Two men don't produce a child. Two women don't produce a child. A woman by herself don't produce a child. A man by himself don't produce a child unless you get science involved. And that's just the facts. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. And I didn't make it that way. It just is that way. But I still accept accept the fact that you choose to be that way, or that people choose to express their love in different ways, you see? And that's the difference. I don't have to agree with or subscribe to everything that you do. And you don't have to agree with and subscribe to everything that I do. And we can respectfully disagree and have our own opinions and have our own lifestyles and go our own ways and still respect and love each other just as much, if not more, at the end of the day. But I do have to say that when you look at the qualities and the things that are attributed to the things that they want to normalize in society, it does involve homosexuality. And that's just what it is. When you look in the Bible, it says it. I'm sorry, I said that B word. When you look in that very wise and intelligent book that we have available to us, any wise and intelligent book that we have available to us, it will give you that same information, you see? And though it says that that is wrong, it also says, judge not, lest ye shall be judged, right? So even though it's telling you that all these other things are wrong, and all these other, well, then let me not say wrong, pause, rephrase. Even though that text is telling you that all these other things are immoral, it also says, judge not, in that same breath, you see? So I can acknowledge and see that a person may have this type of behavior or these tendencies or this type of XYZ, and I can acknowledge that, but I better not judge that person because of that. I better not look down my nose and say, well, you're a sinner, or you're this, or you're that. No, 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 no. The only thing I'm supposed to do is be accountable for me, make sure that I'm upright as a sentient being, and if I see a person in error, the only thing that I'm supposed to do is just bring it to their attention. Don't judge that person. Just bring it to their attention. Hey, brother, I could not pass by and let you stay in ignorance like this. You know what I'm saying? What we're doing, or what X, Y, and Z, this is not according to divine or moral law. And that's just it. You know what I mean? And going about that, you're not supposed to be like, oh, well, you're gay, or you're this, or you're that. You know what I mean? No, dude, no. Simply point out, hey, in the scriptures or in this text or blah, 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 whatever reference you want to use, it says that these things are immoral, this, that, and whatever, Look, I'm not trying to bash, I'm not trying to judge, but here you go. This is the information as I understand it. Take it and interpret it as you will. You know what I'm saying? And even if that person still freely chooses to stay in that lifestyle, or to stay in whatever ignorance that they're in, it doesn't matter what it is, then you don't judge that person. You keep it pushing, man. You let them stay right there where they're at and still love them and respect them, as a person, as a sentient being. But they may be confused, or they may be stuck, or they may be, or maybe that it's just in their mind that is the right way. That's just how they're programmed. Maybe that's their mission, you see? So we can never judge. We can never look down our nose and point a finger at anybody for any reason. You know what I'm saying? So I, again, would like to remind everybody to just stay in a central position of love and compassion and tolerance for your fellow beings. I humbly believe that that's going to be what carries us through, what's going to win every battle at the end of every day. So, but again, I want you to do your homework. I want you to do your research on some of these things, I want you to try to get a understanding of the direction that we're going as a society, that understand the direction that they want to take this country and the world, you know. So, but I humbly would like to thank everyone for taking their time and their energy to allow me to express my thoughts and show my love to the world. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.